How's it going, everyone? It's Jesse, and you guys are here on my Painting with Jesse page. We're gonna get started here pretty soon. Just gotta jump on my Facebook here so I can find my feed here, my live feed. Here we go. There it is. Really quick, I just want to let everyone know if you guys see any links in the comments section that promise to take you guys to another site. Scammers are posting links on my live events where they promise to take you to the live feed for this event. Do not click on those. Stay right here. You guys are going to be right here watching the event live on Painting with Jesse, right? You're seeing me right now on your screen, so this is where the event's going to be. So do not click on any of those links that promise to take you to the live feed, okay? So a couple of things. We're going to get started here in about 2-3 minutes or so, right? I'll start going over the instructions and things like that. But as you guys jump on here, please make sure you guys say hello. Let me know where you guys are painting from, maybe who you're painting with. We are going to be painting for a good while, at least 2.5 hours. So make sure you guys have plenty of, know that there's going to be plenty of time where we do this event. It's going to take some time. Just be ready for that. Hang on one sec, folks, while I get my comments section up right here. I want to see who's on here with me. I don't want to miss any of you guys' comments. All right, awesome. I already see some people jumping on and saying hello. Let's see, Crystal Moreno from Dallas, Texas. How's it going, Crystal? We got Ashley Scott. What's up, Ashley? You made it on here, I see. Fantastic. Amy Rush, hello from Ohio. Awesome, guys. Looks like we're going to have a really nice group today. Don't know how many people are going to paint. I know a whole lot of people sent in emails requesting the skull template. Hopefully you guys all got that. Also, hopefully you guys all got a chance to watch the pre-prep video for the event. Okay, it's not absolutely necessary to watch the pre-prep video unless you want to do the border around your painting, right? So the pre-prep video would have taught you how to tape it off around the edge so that you have that white border at the end. Okay, so that's what the pre-prep video does. If you guys don't care about having white border on here, then don't worry about it. If you didn't watch it and you want to have a white border around your painting, then you can paint along today. You're just not going to do your background. Okay, you'll do everything with the skull as I do, and then your background will come in later. So I'll explain that in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go over the instructions again here in just a moment. So I've got my skull cut out, taped onto my canvas already. I'll talk about that here in a moment. You guys are going to want to tape it on. I'll show you guys how to do that, so don't stress about that. But again, if you guys haven't watched the pre-prep video, the pre-prep video shows you how to create the border around your canvas so that it looks like a Loteria playing card. Okay, that's what the pre-prep video does. If you haven't watched it and want to have a border around your painting, don't worry, paint along with us today, and then you just will not do your background until a later time. Okay, but you are going to need your skull cut out so you can tape it onto your canvas or whatever it is that you're painting on, like this. I'll talk about those steps here in a little bit. We're going to trace it, then of course we're going to remove the template, okay? What's up, Hannah Herrera? How's it going? You're back. Fantastic. Again, guys, I just want to remind everybody, scammers are posting comments in the comments section. Basically, they're links that promise to take you to the live view of this event. Don't click on those. Ignore those. I've got my friend Ariel on here going through and banning those people if any of those comments pop up. I haven't seen any yet, which is kind of surprising, but yeah. Anyhow, what are you going to need today? You're going to need a pencil and an eraser, right? Because we're going to be doing a little bit of drawing. We're going to outline the skull, and then of course we're going to be doing all the design on the inside of the face. You're going to be needing a pencil for that. You're going to want an eraser. If you're painting, you're going to need paints, obviously, but you can also do this with colored pencils, markers, watercolors, whatever it is that you guys have to color with, that's what you'll be using. I'm going to be using acrylic paints, okay? Some of the colors that I've got, some of the basic colors you're going to need, of course, a white for the skull. We're going to create an off-white color though. For that, I'm going to need a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white, and then a touch of brown. These are the colors I'm going to be using to create that off-white color for the skull, okay? If you don't have yellow or brown, then yours is going to be simply white, which will work also. Some of the colors, other colors that you'll be needing, of course, is black or even a really dark brown would work. And this is for the eyes, the nose, the mustache, all the dark areas on the skull. And then, of course, whatever colors you guys want to use for your decorations on the skull face, right? So orange, yellow, green, blue. It's up to you. The designs on the face, you guys are going to be able to customize however you'd like. Okay, so again, that part's all going to be up to you. So and then brushes. Last thing you're going to be needing is brushes. If you're painting along, I have a variety of brushes here. I'll talk about these in a little while. I have water in here in this cup, my little cup, and between steps when I'm painting, these brushes sit inside the water to keep the brushes from drying out. Acrylic paint, if you're new or not familiar with acrylic paint, it dries very fast. So the water keeps all of that paint from drying, okay, in between steps. So really quickly, before we get started here, and I'm going to turn things around in a moment, I'm going to bring the camera close so you guys can all see what I'm doing. We're going to get moving pretty quickly. I just want to point out, next week, we're on Friday, I think it's 4 o'clock, we're going to be doing Jack and Sally, painting our Jack and Sally piece that you see behind me here. I'm going to teach you guys how to draw everything, how to paint it. That's next Friday. The Thursday before that, so the Thursday before that, we're going to be doing this really cool hocus pocus piece. Check out the events. The information for these are on my Painting with Jesse page, so take a look at that for all the details on those. Okay, so that's what's coming up next week. We do have a couple of other events during the week, Tuesday and Tuesday. I have a kids event, but you guys can look at that on my events page. All right, guys, let me go ahead and flip everything around and let's get going. What you're gonna need right now is a pencil and paper or canvas, whatever it is that you're gonna be doing your painting on, okay? So I've got my skull here. I've already taped it onto my canvas. This is how I'm going to trace everything. Okay, so what you're going to want to do, and I'm going to try to indicate this like this. I hope I don't drop anything. I like to drop stuff. Let me lower the camera a little bit so you guys can get a better view as to what it is that I've done here. I'm going to give you guys a few moments to do this. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken my template, the template that I emailed everyone, right? Everyone that requested it, and I've went ahead and positioned it. I have a couple of pieces of tape. On the chin and on the head. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find right about the center of your canvas or paper or whatever it is that you're going to be drawing this on, painting this on. Okay, and a couple of easy ways to do this. If you're painting with somebody, if somebody's there with you, have them help you. You want it to be somewhat centered, almost perfectly centered. You don't have to bust out a ruler or anything. You can use your fingers to gauge this. So what you can do is this: look at it, eyeball it, look about where the center might be. You do this, and then you can just simply take your fingers. So I've got my tape all around the borders, right? We've already done that together on the pre-prep. So I use my fingers here to gauge from the temples of my skull, and I just kind of go like this. I just want to make sure that they're about equal on both sides. Okay, as long as they're about equal on both sides, then we're good. And then you want a little bit more space on the bottom than on the top, just a little bit. But they're almost also equal. They're also almost equal. Okay, so you can kind of do this. You want to leave enough space on the top for your number and on the bottom for La Calavera, right? You're writing on the bottom. So I'm using a piece of tape to keep that on my canvas. Okay, the way that we're going to do this. So you guys want to work on this right now. You can also do this on a table. You don't have to tape it. You can also face this out on the table. In a moment, we're going to trace everything. Okay, the way that this works, if you're new to my tutorials, and I've got a whole bunch of them saved on my Facebook page, so you guys can always go back and watch some of those. But basically, I do some steps on my piece, and then I give you guys a little time to do yours. Usually, about a minute or two, and then we move on to the next step. Okay, so the entire process is like that. I do something over here, and then I take a pause and let you guys catch up. You guys want to stay caught up with me, okay? Don't fall too far behind. Now, also, if you're Speedy Gonzalez, if you're really quick, and this isn't a rushed. This is not a rushed project. It's not something we can rush through. I want to make sure you guys understand that we're going to take some time with this. So if you're pushing because you're done with the step and you want to move on to the next one, Got to have a little patience. Okay, so again, what I want you guys to do right now is to go ahead and tape your canvas, your piece onto the canvas, your cutout. Take your pencil, and what you're going to do is this. You're simply going to outline the outside of your skull. You're going to go all the way, do a really light outline. Don't make it too dark. You're barely going to be able to see mine, okay, because I don't want to press too hard on the pencil. And then if you make a mistake and don't like the position of your skull when you're done here, if you need to erase something, it's a little harder to erase it when you have such a dark pencil line. Okay, so you also want to go through here and trace the inside of your eyes, and then also do your mouth. If you guys notice, my skull does not have the nose cut out. As I mentioned in the pre-prep video, you don't need the nose right now. I'm going to show you guys how to do that, how to draw that in. So I'm just going through and then outlining the teeth. In a moment, I'm going to go through some of the comments, see if you guys have any questions for me, especially in between steps. That's when I go through and start answering questions. I start giving shout outs, saying hello to some of you guys that are saying hi to me. Again, guys, especially if you're new, please let me know. If you're new, say, hey, first timer here. My name's so-and-so or whatever, and I'm painting with such and such. So that I know, I like to say hi to new people. And those of you that have been painting with me for a while, same thing. Say hello. Okay, don't be shy. So again, folks, go ahead, trace your skull, trace out your eyes, trace out the mouth. As you guys are working on that, I'm going to look at the comments here, see if there are any questions or anything like that. Got a whole bunch of you on here. Hopefully you guys are ready to have a good time, because I know that I am. All right, Gina Guzman, how's it going, Gina? Joe Vasquez, Estela Garcia, how's it going? Yeah, so Jack and Sally, guys, next week. Okay, you guys want to take a look at that. So here we go. Looking at the comments now, looks like comments are flying through pretty quick. It's hard for me to keep up. Okay, but again, guys, this is what you guys want to do right now. Once you've got your trace in place, simply pull your cutout away from your canvas and go ahead and fill in the areas where you put in any tape. If you use tape, if not, no big deal. And then just make sure that you have everything, that your pencil lines are dark enough where you can see everything. Not so dark that you make them super, super dark, but enough so that you can see your lines. So if you need to, go back over them lightly so you can define all these little parts, especially like around the teeth. So this is obviously, we don't have any teeth right now. We're going to add those later, okay? So, all right, as you guys are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the camera so I bring it forward, get a little better close-up of our La Calavera Loteria piece. Let's keep these side by side. Again, if any of you guys missed it, I have a border that I created with tape. I used simple Scotch tape for mine. You could use painter's tape. There's other types of tape that you can use. You just want to use a tape that won't damage your surface. If you guys didn't watch the pre-prep video, that was covered on that. Okay, so that's what that's about. Let me see. I might have to pull this back a little bit. Actually, I'm going to bring it forward for now, and then later when I need to, I'll adjust it and pull it back. Again, folks, I know that my pencil lines are really light. You probably can barely see them on the video because I can barely see them myself on my laptop where I'm viewing the video feed. But know that it's there, okay? So I got my eyes in, my eyes traced out, I got my mouth traced out, and I've got my skull traced out. All right, cool. So you guys got about another minute or so to catch up. We're going to go ahead and do our background. We're going to paint in our background. We're going to talk about how to do that. I'm going to be using the same pink or a similar pink, not identical, but a similar pink to what I've got on the original. You can use any color you want for your background. Light blue, green, yellow, whatever it is that you've got. You can even use a black. Black would probably look really awesome. Your lettering would have to be a different color though, right? So if you're using black, for example, maybe your lettering would be white. But so here we go, guys. Here we go. Give me some thumbs up in the comment section, letting me know that you guys are ready to go. What's up, Ozzy? What's going on, Lupe? First timer, how are you? Welcome to my page. Whoops. Don't want to do that. I'm losing my feed over here. Let's bring that back. Clicked on the wrong, get that out of here. I don't even know what that is. Okay. All right, guys. So here we go. On my background, as I mentioned earlier, I've got this tape border all the way around, about an inch and a quarter from the outside of my canvas. Now, this is a 16 by 20 inch canvas. I don't know what size canvas you guys are using, but I taped off. I used a ruler. Again, my pre-prep video, I'm sure most of you watched it. I came in and I taped off the edges. If you guys have not watched that video and you guys want yours to have a border like this, which is what makes it look like a Loteria card, then you're gonna want to watch that video. Okay, you don't have to do it now. You just don't do your background now. You're gonna do everything with the skull with me. You're not going to do your background, but watch what I'm doing. Okay. Also, this video will be available for you to watch it afterwards when after the live session's over. So you can always go back and watch this part again. But for those of you that have your canvas or paper or whatever it is ready to go and you've got this all taped off, what I want to make sure you guys do is you press down on your tape edge, the one that's closest to the inside of your canvas. Make sure you press down nice and smooth it out all the way down, all the way across. Press down on this so that that tape edge is nice and smooth and stuck uniformly all the way around your canvas. Okay? What I want you guys to do, and we're about to start our paint part. We're not going to do anything more with the skull for now, but you're going to go ahead and start painting in your background. Okay, I'm going to take, I've got this 1 inch brush right here. Let me show you guys my brushes really quick. For those of you that maybe in the future want to get some brushes, maybe you don't have them now. These are just some basic synthetic bristle brushes. This is a big old 2 inch brush. Got a nice 1 inch brush right there. Got a 1/2 inch brush. And then I got a smaller brush right here. I also have a liner brush that I'll show you guys later, but this is like a little 1/4 inch brush. All right, I also have some paper towels here. Paper towels are good for all the messes that happen. So here we go, folks, here we go. I'm grabbing my 1 inch brush here. With your paint, okay, and I got my paint right here, ready to go. There's other colors that I'm going to be using, of course, but I'm starting with my background now. Here's what I'm going to do. Now watch this, this is very important. On the edge where the tape lines up, the inside of my tape is, I'm just gonna brush from the tape inwards. Do not brush in the other direction. If you brush in the other direction, you're gonna likely spread some paint, push some paint under the tape, and you don't want that. Okay, so again, all the way around the border. Whoops, I'm gonna pull the camera back a tiny bit. Looks like I've lost that top edge. Okay, hang on 1 second, folks. So again, here's my tape line. My tape is right here. Okay, on the inside edge. I'm not painting on the outside edge, right? I'm just going from where the tape is. Oh, I start with my brush over the tape and I come forward in towards the canvas, towards the inside of the canvas. I'm going to do this all the way around. Again, on top of the tape, and then I come forward. I don't go the other way. I don't want to push any paint underneath that tape. So all the way around. This is how I start this. Well, at the end, when we're all done and we peel the tape off, we want to have a really nice clean edge. And this is how you're going to achieve that. Okay, so again, all the way around. Anna Flores says, all my canvases are 8 by 10, so I shrunk my skull. Perfect, Anna. That's exactly what you want to do. Okay, all the way around, folks. And I got to watch what I'm doing. I was reading the comments as I was brushing, and I almost went beyond my border on the other side of the tape. That would have been no good. I mean, I could fix that, but it's just, kind of a pain in the butt. Again, you want to brush in towards the center of your canvas, okay? Don't brush in the other direction. You're going to do this all the way around. Once you have this paint all the way around your border, then we're going to go and outline the skull with the same paint. And you can work kind of quickly, but be careful. I'm going to do this all the way around. Once you get the hang of it, move a little bit more quickly, right? You want to keep up. So I got one more before the end of the month, or maybe right at the beginning of November. I'm going to do another Day of the Dead themed Loteria card style painting. I'm not sure which one yet. Maybe La Sirena, right? La Sirena Day of the Dead style might be pretty awesome. But we'll see. El Catrín, I don't know. We'll see. El Borracho Day of the Dead style might be kind of cool. So be on the alert, because that one's gonna, whichever one I decide to do is also gonna be really nice. Make sure you guys like the page. If you guys haven't liked the page yet, you won't get any of the notifications when I post new stuff. All right, here we go. So again, all the way around. This tape is not going to come off until the very, very end. It's pretty much the very last thing that we do. All right, so work your way all the way around. Once you've done this, okay, you want to switch over to a smaller brush. I'm going to do this. I'm going to come over. I've got this little 1/4-inch brush that I'm going to be using for this next step. And this next step is basically taking the same color and outlining my skull all the way around, just on the outside. When I outline, I can go right above the pencil line, right where I barely cover the pencil line. Okay, there we go. Cool. So I'm going to give you guys about a couple of minutes to catch up with that. I'm going to look through the comments here, make sure that everybody seems to be with me. What's up, Ozzy? ¿Dónde es borracho? I think, ¿dónde está el borracho? I don't have el borracho done yet, but yeah, I think that's gonna be a cool one. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be a borracho that I do the painting with, but maybe, like I said, La Sirena or something like that. But we'll see. Let's see. Comments. I'm gonna go through these comments here, see if you guys have any questions. Gina Guzman, El Pintor. That sounds cool. I'd like that one. That'd be a cool one. Janet Ledesma, how's it going? Janice and Janet, ready to paint. Fantastic. Angie Flynn Golty, yes, it is so folks, if you don't have your template and you're not ready to paint today, send me an email at paintingwithjesse, Jesse spelled Jesse, @gmail.com, and I will send you guys a template. Okay, I'll send you the template and you can always watch this later. But you guys want to make sure you watch that pre-prep video. Again, that pre-prep video gets you ready to go, so you have a nice border around your painting there. Gilvaline Rodriguez, I am new. Hello, how's it going? Let me see. You know what? I did not. Oh, somebody's asking me. Let me see. Who's asking that? Where is that? What? Ready to use what? Okay. So we got our background in place here, folks. Here's what we're going to do now. I'm switching back to my big brush. Okay, the big brush that I was using around the border. Now I'm going to come in here and watch what I do here. When I paint this, I'm using my brush to go in different directions. Again, be careful that you do not go back towards the tape or you're going to get paint underneath it. And like I said, we want to make sure we avoid that. We don't want to have any paint go underneath that tape. It's not that it can't be fixed. Let's say once we peel the tape off, if we do happen to have some paint over there, it can be fixed depending on what kind of paint you're using, but it can be kind of difficult, pain in the butt. So let's not even Let's not even go there. Okay, so again, folks, all the way around. And watch what I'm doing here. Like I said, watch my brush strokes. You can learn a lot simply by watching. So I'm holding the brush back here. I've got my 1-inch brush, and I'm going different directions. Crisscross pattern. And I'm leaving the edges right by the skull face for last. I'm running out of some of the paint that I poured on my plate, so let me grab some more. Now, our background is probably going to take at least 2 layers of paint to get a really nice bright coat like what we got on the original painting over there. Okay, so this first layer, especially again if you're new to acrylic painting, is going to be just the base. It's what it's our base that we're going to add the other layer over. It's the second and third layers, if your painting ends up requiring a third layer, where everything becomes nice and uniform, or more uniform I should say, and a lot more intense. So on this first layer, don't worry if your paint isn't super bright and even in shade, right? If you can see some of that white coming through on some of the areas of the canvas, cover those up as much as you can, but don't worry about creating a really perfect shade of this or whatever color you're using for your background. Okay, so this is just the first coat, and I'm gonna probably do at least 2 coats with you. Okay, if yours ends up needing a third coat and I don't do a third coat on mine, of course you can always add that on your own, right? But again, on this step, don't worry too much about the background being perfect, solid, all one shade. You're probably not likely going to get that unless you're painting with oil paints or different type, maybe a heavy bodied acrylic paint. But again, don't stress about that on this step. Worry about coverage, making sure that every bit of your canvas on the inside of that border, if yours has a border, is white. Is covered up. You don't see any white coming through. And just care when you're near your edges, near your borders, carefully. All right. All right, guys. Let me look at some of those comments. Don't forget, don't be shy. If you haven't yet, say hello. Let me know where you're painting from. Got people from all over. We got some people from Canada today, maybe Puerto Rico, different states. And I don't know if from anywhere else. Sometimes we get people from the Philippines. But anyway, let me know where you're painting from and maybe who you're painting with. All right, there we go. Got some clumpiness on some of my paint, so I'm trying to remove it here. There we go. Again, folks, this isn't something that we can rush, so hopefully you guys all have the time to stick around. And we can't push the pace too hard, otherwise we're going to get people falling behind. So yes, you can do the background any color that you want, right? So if you got light blue, if you got dark blue, green, yellow, whatever it is that you want, it's perfectly fine. Entirely up to you. All right, you guys got about a minute for this coat of paint. And then we're actually going to move in and start working on the inside of La Calavera. I'm just using my little brush now to kind of refine some of the edges on my skull. And not sure if you guys can see it, but some of my brush strokes aren't super even, and I've got a mix of shades of this pink throughout, simply because of the thickness of the layer. And again, that doesn't go away until I start doing a second and third layer. So for those of you that may have missed it, don't know how many of you are on here today that joined me for our cocoa or Miguel from Coco painting yesterday, drawing and painting. I show you guys step by step how to draw this and paint this. This is up on my, if you go back into the videos, the live videos on my page, this is now up as a recording. So you can always go back and watch the recorded version of this live video. Okay, again, I teach you guys how to draw and how to paint Miguel. So for those of you that might be interested. Okay, guys, 30 seconds, and we're adding some. We're starting to add the design to the face. Catalina Agudelo Flanagan, San Jose, California. How's it going? Gabs Gonzalez, San Jose. Saludos. I saw somebody by the name of Anna, and then somebody's comment popped in, and Janet Ledesma says, breast cancer pink is my color. Ah, well, hopefully, let's see here. Hopefully you make an awesome painting. I'm assuming you're also doing pink. Is that right, Janet? Patricia Lopez Diaz, Inglewood, California. L. Roberts, you got it. You're very welcome. So that's right. This does look like breast cancer pink, doesn't it? Bay Area reppin'. That's what it sounds like. Gabs Gonzalez. Anna Guerrero, Virginia. Barbie Scott, New Jersey. Welcome. Chastity Hensley, Virginia. What's up? Patricia Ayala, Laredo, Texas. Texas in the house. New Jersey in the house. Virginia in the house. So awesome. All right, guys, here we go. Valentina, 8 years old. Hello, how's it going? Chanel Scanlon from Utah. What's happening? Okay, guys, so here we go. Get your pencils out. We're going to do a little design on the inside of our skull. And I'm going to go ahead and move the camera forward so you guys get a better view of what I'm going to be doing on the camera, right? It's a little easier if I bring it up close. You're obviously not going to get the entire canvas in view, but for this part of it, that's not necessary. Let me make sure that, let me see gotta look on my laptop to make sure that everything's in view. Hold on one second. We're about to do the designs on the face. And of course, you guys can do whatever you want. If you guys want to change things up, absolutely up to you. Okay, I don't want you guys to think that, obviously it's your painting, right? So you don't have to do everything that I've got. If you want to change some things up, including the colors, the design itself, all up to you. Maybe you guys have some idea of what your skull is going to look like. Fantastic. I am going to ask for you guys to send me pictures when you're all done. I love seeing you guys' masterpieces. So please send me pictures when you're all through, whether you finish today, tomorrow, the next day, or whatever the case may be. But I do want to see your stuff, okay? And I like to see people's creativity. Here we go. Let's look at our skull. So the one thing that's missing from my skull is the nose. I didn't do the nose yet. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So what do we got? If you were to look at this, it's almost like an elongated heart. If you were to complete these lines back like this, the two lines on the sides, they would meet up to a point back up in here somewhere. And then if this was all black, it would be like almost like this, an upside down heart is what it kind of looks like. Elongated upside down heart. Okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and start. So I'm going to draw a little tiny light dot on the face. I'm going to erase that dot, so I'm not making it really dark. Okay, this is kind of where the top of the nose is going to be, where those two little points meet. So from right there, I'm simply going to come down. And again, I know that you might have a hard time seeing what I'm doing here. I'm going to look on my laptop to make sure that it's visible to everyone. But I basically created almost like a long not upside down, but a long V or a long U. And that's this part right in here, this light part on the inside. Okay, so that's what I got. Maybe I can bring it up a little bit. There's no perfect in any of this. Everyone's is going to look a little different, so don't stress too much about trying to make it, oh my gosh, where is that? Exactly where is it? How high up is it? How low is it? Come close and you're good to go. Okay, so there we go. From there, I'm going to create the edges. Okay, so I'm going to go to the right, this edge down here. Actually, before I do that, I'm actually going to come down and mark off with a nice light line where I want the bottom of that nose to be. That way I don't go too far down and go into where my mustache is going to be. So all I did is create a really light line that, again, I'm going to be erasing. That indicates where the bottom of my nose is going to be. Now I can come in here and I'm going to draw my line on the right hand side. And it's kind of a slightly curved line. It goes out, curves under. Again, as if you're making an upside down heart. I come over to the other side and do the same thing. Now give me a moment, folks. I'm going to go ahead and darken up these lines so you can see what I've got. Okay. That's kind of what that looks like. Now I can go in here and erase my little dot up on top. I don't need that anymore. All right, you guys got about a minute. So come on, get on it. Let me go through those comments again. Let's see what we got. I'm going backwards. I'm working my way back. Anna Maria and Gabby in the house. What's up, ladies? How's it going? If you're not able to do this today, guys, don't worry. Letitia Estrada says first time here. Welcome, Letitia. Yeah, if you didn't ask for a template, freehand it. No worries, folks. Right? You can do it. The skull isn't that crazy thing to do. A lot of people shy away from drawing, but with a little practice, you'll be okay. And if you end up needing the template and you want to do this later, email me and I'll send that over to you. So Letitia's doing it freehand. Fantastic. It's all right, Letitia. You know, perfect can be a little boring, so don't even worry about that. Let's see. All right. We got our nose in place. It's time to do a little mustache. Okay? Time to do a little mustache right here. Got a little curvy little mustache. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. We're not going to do the little curvy part of the mustache. We're simply going to do these big parts towards the middle. Later on, once we've got the color of our skull painted in, that off-white color, then we'll come and add those little curves. So for now, right below the nose, obviously between where the mouth and then the top of the teeth are and the nose, probably right about where the middle is, slightly to the right of the middle and slightly to the left. You can draw two little lines right there. That's where the little mustache meets in the center. Okay? Little tiny space in between. And we're going to go with the right side first. Actually, let me get right in front of the, make sure that I'm centered here. Slightly over to the left of my canvas, so sometimes it's a little tricky to, centering is a little hard. I got to come over and take a look. Here we go, mustache. Comes over, curls down a little bit. Bottom part. That's all I'm doing for now. Except for I'm doing the same thing on the other side. These don't have to be perfectly symmetrical, but you want them to be about the same length, right? Take a little step back from time to time. If you're really up close to your canvas, take a little step back and make any adjustments as needed. Like for example, right here, I can come over. Oops, my little eraser is kind of shot. But I'm going to adjust that line, that pencil line that I did there. So I'm going to come over and adjust this a bit. Make it a little bit longer. There we go. Again, later on I'm going to come in and add the little tails. Probably going to bring it up a little bit and drop it over. But for now, that's all we got, okay? There will be a replay of this. Angie, I think I already answered Angie. But this will be available later for those of you that are not able to do it with us today. Here we go. Next step. Let's give our if you're going to do a little heart up on top, a little upside down heart, or it could be a right side up heart, up to you guys. But right here down the center, just mark a little spot where the top of my heart's going to be. If you guys want, you can also mark where the bottom of your heart's going to be. That's optional. The reason I did it down here is because I didn't want to go too far down, where I kind of limited how much space I had for my mustache. From right about right here on the top, I'm just going to come over to a nice little upside down heart. Nothing fancy. We can just make sure you keep using light pencil marks, right? If you have to erase anything, especially if it's something you got to make smaller, it's easier to erase if you make nice light pencil lines. There we go. I like that. As we're working on this, if you did your background already, the background is drying. As we're doing this, this is drying, and eventually it gets to the point where we can then go over and do another layer over the top, okay? So work on that heart, folks. Erica Gomez family in the house from Corpus Christi, Texas. What's up, Texas? Stephanie Keene Ford from Maryland. How's it going, Stephanie? Thank you guys for being here today. Let's see, who do we got from Kansas? Eva Webb from Kansas. How's it going? Azalea and Analia from Somerset, Texas. Texas representing today. Pretty crazy and cool. Suzanne Perfecto Mata. How's it going? Whittier, California. Used to live near Whittier. Ines Barcenas, Colorado in the house. Cool. Brianna Trujillo family from Albuquerque, New Mexico. What's up, New Mexico? Okay, guys, so here we go. Moving on. You got your little heart? Let's get some teeth in our skull. Can't have a skull without teeth, or I suppose you could, but it wouldn't look as cool. So let's give our little skeleton some teeth. So here's what we're going to do first. Right here, right across the middle, somewhere in between the top and the bottom, you're going to go ahead and draw a nice little line that goes all the way across. Hopefully you guys went ahead and cut this part out on your cutout, right? In the instructions that I sent out, I said cut everything out but the nose. You need to cut out the nose, but you definitely want to have the mouth where the teeth are going to be. Okay, there we go. So that little line is right here in the middle. From there, we're going to start in the very, very center. We're just going to draw a little line here for our top teeth. We're just going to go down the line. Everywhere there's one of those little points, I just draw a little line down. And it could be a little curved, right? The little skeleton here doesn't have perfect teeth. So just like that, and then I do the same thing with the bottom. They can be slightly curved. They don't have to match up where all the lines intersect in the middle, right? They can be slightly off. Makes our skeleton look a little bit, gives it a little bit more personality, if you ask me. All right, work on those teeth. Turning up a little bit of music in the background. This is all Facebook friendly music, non-copyrighted stuff. The only music I can use without getting my video blocked by Facebook. So hopefully it's not too bad. Okay, so here we go. We got our teeth in place. We got the front parts of the mustache. We got our nose. We got the little heart on top. Here's what I want you guys to do next. You guys see right here on the side of the mouth, right where the line for the teeth comes over, you're going to draw a curved line that comes out like this, curves up, and then connects right to where this cheekbone, right? There's a cheekbone on each side. So this is our little cheekbone. Actually, here's what I want you guys to do. Right here, you're just simply going to take your pencil and draw a little line that comes in like this, and then a line that starts to come out. Okay, just like that. Both sides. Okay, there we go. Again, folks, we got to take our time with this. We can't rush. Okay, so got to be a little patient also. Hopefully none of you guys are going, oh my God, this is going too slow, or maybe some of you guys are going, this is too fast. Try to keep up, do your best. I give you guys time in between steps, as you guys are seeing, but everybody has a slightly different pace. So, okay, so we got our little cheekbones drawn in. What I want you guys to do from those cheekbones, you're going to come out. You're going to draw a line that comes out like this and then drops right to the top of the edge of the tooth on the right-hand side, or the skull's left side, but our right side. Okay, you're going to do the same thing on both sides. So that cheekbone comes out, curves down sharply, and connects right there. Once you've done that, from your teeth, the line of the teeth comes across, you're going to go like this. Come out and up, back up to that cheekbone. Same thing on the other side. Out and up. Okay, that and that, of course, are these guys. And you want them to be about the same size, right? So if you need to adjust anything, go ahead and make your adjustment. Actually, let's see here. There we go. All right. We got those in place. We got our teeth. We got our... Here's what we're going to do next. We're going to make some flowers on the bottom of the face. Okay, so we're going to start with this flower right here. Little center of the flower. Nice little curve, like half circle. Ana Flores, you're cheating. I'm just kidding. That's a good technique. Ana Flores says, I turn the canvas upside down for the heart. That's perfectly fine. I know it's tricky to do things upside down. Our perspective changes and our brain goes, wait. You want me to do what? But yeah, absolutely. That will work. Felicia and Naomi from the Bay Area, California. How's it going? Welcome, newbies, huh? Fantastic. Well, we got a lot of awesome videos on this page, folks. So for those of you who want to go back in the archives and look for those, you guys can always go back and paint. A lot of fun stuff that we got on here. Okay, so take a look at those. Go back and take a look out for those. So here we go with the petals on the flower. Got this, almost looks like a daisy. So all you need is some kind of pointy petals. We're gonna start with the one right here in the center. Kind of go up, and you can make yours as long as you want. Okay, but I got that first petal right there. Then the petal next to it, and depending on how wide you're making these or how narrow you're making these, you might have 3 or 4 petals on each side. Looks like I'm going to end up with 3, and then I can go to the other side, and I'm going to end up with about 3 as well. If you have 4 or 5, no big deal. All good. Okay, cool. Carrie D from Alberta, Canada. Canada's in the house. How's it going? Let it go on up. Continue on up through the comment section here. If I missed any of you guys, sorry folks, at the very beginning of these videos, the comments start flying through really quickly until we get painting. As I look on that screen, they just flash by, and I'm like, whoa, there goes that comment, there goes that comment, there goes that comment. So I'm backing up trying to see if I missed anything. Danielle Bradley, I'm 8 and a first timer, but a great artist. Awesome. Fantastic. Love it. And then the comments stop at a particular point, and I can't go back any further. So hopefully I know I didn't get everyone, but you know. Hello to Crystal Castillo from Carlsbad, New Mexico. Absolutely my pleasure. All right, guys, here we go. Another flower. Let's go to the one on the left. Now, the flowers that I did on this one are rounded, but if you want yours pointy, it's up to you. So right about here where the face starts to turn, takes that nice little sharp turn. We're going to do the same thing. This one's a little smaller, so our little circle, our circle's a little smaller than on this one here. And I'm going to come on over and do the same thing on the other side. They're kind of symmetrical, identical flowers on each end. And then I'm going to start. Each flower has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you end up with more or less petals, that's okay. Here we go. We can start with the one in the middle. Kind of curved little circle like this. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Erica Aurora Blas says, like President Bush once said, there's a Rembrandt in here. It's your job to bring him out. That's awesome. Love it. My job to help you bring out your Rembrandt. La Calavera Rembrandt. Okay, guys, look at that. We're getting pretty close to about, actually a little more than halfway maybe with all the stuff on the face. 3/4 of the way up. Okay, so here we go. Next step. We're going to go ahead and do the big flower up on top. Now, this is probably the trickiest part of the entire face. That big flower up on top. Again, don't stress. Don't want you guys going, oh my gosh, mine has to look exactly like Jesse's. It's not the point. As long as you make something that looks like a flower in your version, it's actually absolutely fine. Now, one thing I want you guys to notice, most of the circle in the center is visible. Okay, unlike the one on the bottom, which is more of a half circle, this one's more of a maybe 3/4 of a circle or 4/5 of a circle. But you want to find your center right at the top of the head, and then you want to go ahead and make that circle. Again, most of that circle is visible. And who knows, maybe on yours the entire circle is visible, right? So what do you guys think? Should we do another Day of the Dead style Loteria piece? And what piece should it be? Which of the cards should we do? Throw them out there. Put them in the comments section. I'll take the most popular one and make that one. What about that? But I want to hear from you guys. Otherwise, I'm going to pick by myself. All right, here we go. First petal. Big one down here in the middle. And that one comes pretty far down, real close to the top of our heart. Just adjusting my circle a little bit. From time to time, folks, make sure you guys stand in the center of your canvas. If you're really up close to it, pull back a little bit. Gives you a better perspective. I can already see that my circle is slightly over to the right, and I'm going to bring it over to the left a little tiny bit so it's more centered. Just a touch. There we go. Now, big petal, long. Maybe what I'll do is I'll draw a little dot where the point is going to be, right? And then work my way back. So what I'll do is I'll come back and then connect that to my circle. Back, connect that to my circle. There we go. And I kind of like that one a little better. It's a little more stylized, a little longer. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little adjustment to get that same or similar effect. A little longer, closer to our heart. Why not? Okay, so there's the first petal. Next petal comes over, comes out, back, and there we go. Connect it to that circle again. Same thing on the other side. Cool. We're getting there, everyone. La chalupa, el nopal, la sirena. Ooh, those are cool. Those are cool. Keep them coming, folks. What else? El corazón, la maceta. Ooh, I forgot about that one. La rosa, la estrella, el barril. La estrella would be pretty fantastic, I think. La bandera, la sirena, la araña. Ooh, la araña. I forgot about that one. La palma. So many awesome cards to choose from. So, but all right, guys, here we go. About 30 more seconds and we move on. Okay, so get your flower in place. As we move along, you're going to get chances to come back and do stuff, but for the drawing part of it, you want to try and keep up. The drawing part of it, because it's the base of everything, super important. Okay, so try and keep up with that. So what we're going to do next is we're going to come in here and do the little decorations around the eyes. Okay, so actually, you know what? We're not going to do the decoration around the eyes just yet. And we're also not going to do the little branches or the little leaves and stuff. Branches with the leaves. We're not going to do any of that just yet. We're going to go ahead and color in our skull in a bit with all this off-white color. And then we're going to do the little intricate stuff. The little lines, the little small lines with our pencil. Okay, so just kind of, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I want to make sure that if we do all the drawings first, we're going to have a hard time painting over them. So I don't want to mess with that. What I do want everyone to do, if your background is all nice and dry like mine is, now we're going to go ahead and do another layer over that background. Okay, so in case we end up needing a third layer, the second layer will be dry by the time we get to it. Okay, so I'm just pouring out some more of my pink paint. Before we get started on painting the background, you guys got a few seconds to finish up with the stuff on the face. I just poured out some more of my paint on you. I think I'm gonna need more than that. I'm gonna go back through those comments, see what we got. See how far back I can go. So I picked the scary, supposedly scary genre of music on Facebook. It's a little odd. All right, here we go. So same process, nothing changes here. You're just doing another layer over the top. So whatever color you used, and I do want you guys to go back over your edges, right? Do the same thing with the edges. Gently paint away from the tape and in towards the canvas, the center of your canvas. Don't go so fast that you make a mistake and paint the other direction or push your bristles underneath the tape, because that will mess your edge up a little bit. So just be careful. I want to see all your pictures, folks. Please be sure to share with me afterwards. This one's good. This one's a really fun one for me. So I grew up as when I was a kid here in Southern California, with my family, my grandmother's house. We'd often go to my grandma's house, and one of the games that we played was La Loteria, which is basically, as I'm sure everybody that's on here knows, or most of you might know, it's kind of like bingo. It's just with images instead of numbers and letters, right? So this is what we used to play, and we used to use. I think most of the time we use beans, the little beans, to cover up our just like in bingo, you cover up with a penny, or I think bingo we also used to use beans in school and stuff. But yeah, I remember playing this all the time as a kid. Loved it. So this one's a really cool one. I really enjoy the Dead of the Dead decorations. One of my favorite times of year is Halloween, so it all kind of comes together. So this one's a fun one. But I most definitely ask you guys to send me pictures of your masterpieces, because I'm excited to see your stuff. I always ask everyone that paints with me to send me pictures of their stuff, but this one particularly I think is going to be cool, because everyone is going to have their own take on what the face looks like, what their face is going to be, right? Their face makeup. So please, I ask you guys to send me pictures. I will most definitely be sharing these on my social media. So also, if you guys want to take pictures holding your paintings and with your group, etc., send those over. I'd love to see faces. Right, I get a lot of you guys saying hello in the comments, and I can look at a little tiny picture, but it's so much cooler to actually see you guys. So you guys send me pictures of yourselves holding your paintings, even better. Okay, so again, I'm just going through and doing another layer of this pink. By now, what starts to happen with this second layer is that everything starts to get a lot more uniform, a lot more solid. And again, you may end up needing to do a third layer on yours. Maybe I will too, we'll see. If there's time for it at the end, we'll do a third layer. And maybe it'll be the second to last thing that we do. But we also have those numbers the number and the lettering that we've got to put in, and we want that background to be dry before we do that. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see how much time we got when we start getting towards the end. The letter and the number don't come up till after we've done everything on the inside of the face. In a moment, I'm going to switch over to my smaller brush so I can come around the edge of my skull. I can use my big brush to get in kind of close, but I don't want to risk it. anyhow, if you guys are first timers, stick around. There's a lot of fun stuff on this page. Go back and check out the old videos, and then we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. If you guys missed it, we've got Hocus Pocus, a Hocus Pocus themed painting next Thursday. I think it's 4 o'clock. Don't remember the exact time right now. I'd have to go back and look. And then we've got a Jack and Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas painting on Friday. So if you guys are interested, check out the events page and be ready to join in. Check out the supplies list, all the details. The Hocus Pocus one has some templates that I'll be sending out via email. I'll start sending those out. Originally I thought I'd be sending those out today. I've run out of time. I might start later tonight, we'll see. But for sure I will be sending those out tomorrow. If you guys want to email me for those. I'll show you guys the painting here in a little bit after I go through and outline my skull. So I'm using my little brush here. And I have no idea who these artists are that are on this Facebook music selection, but I guess the music's okay. Can't play anything that's copyrighted or they mute my video. There's no way around it. If you don't have the copyright, they won't let you do it. All right, let's check out those comments. Oh, that's pretty cool. Crystal Castillo says, we used to use washed pits from my grandmother's apricots from their tree or even recycled bottle caps. Oh, super cool. Yeah, you use whatever you had, right? Let's see. Yeah, anyway, fun times. Definitely fun times. It's so funny because there were apricot groves down from where my grandma used to live. So the number simply, as far as I know, the number is simply a number for the card. I meant to look at the history of the Loteria game, but I didn't get a chance. All I know is, we used to play it as kids. For us, the number never came up. It was always the name. Maybe you could call out the number instead of the name on the name of the card, but we always used to play by calling out the name. So in this case, La Calavera, right? Or La Sirena. I don't remember ever calling out the card by number, but I suppose that's the option. That instead of the number, maybe somebody who doesn't speak Spanish can instead do the numbers. But anytime they called out the name, they'd also show the card so you saw the picture. So I guess that was probably what it was meant for. Okay. So all right, guys, how are we doing on that background? Let me know in the comments if you guys are ready to move on. We're going to start doing some of the inside. And what we're going to start with on the inside is, whoops, sorry about the movement with the camera, a little jiggly. But what we're going to do is we're going to paint, let me lower the volume here a little bit. We're going to paint everything on the inside of the skull other than everything that we've drawn in, right? We're going to go around everything, but we're going to paint an off-white color. So if you ever looked at a skull, if you ever actually look at a bone, it's not white, right? It's more like an off-white. There's a little bit of a yellow tint, maybe even a little tiny bit of a brown tint. So what I'm about to do is I'm going to show you guys how to make that skull color. I'm using some white. That's my base color. That's my primary color. Using a lot of that. I'll come over in a second and show you guys what I'm talking about on camera. But I'm taking a little bit of yellow. Okay, I'm going to tint my white with a little bit of yellow. Don't start just yet unless you already know what I'm talking about. I'll show you here in a moment. I'm just gathering my paints, putting them on my palette. So we're going to start on the inside of our skull here. All right, almost there, almost there. So here we go. I've got primarily white right here on my plate. I've got a little bit of yellow, and then we're going to use a touch of brown, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white. I don't need all that white. I can bring my white over to a section on my plate. Then I'm going to grab some yellow. You don't need a lot of yellow. So add a little bit of yellow. It's going to turn kind of like a really light yellow. Okay, you want to tone that down. You want to get an off-white, slightly off-white color. You'll see it. You'll start to recognize it when you see it. All of our skulls are going to be slightly different in shade. Okay, so don't worry about it too much. But you do start with kind of a yellowish off-white. Then you're going to take a little bit of brown at a time, very little, and introduce it into the color. So a little bit of brown, a little bit of dark brown, mix it in. Work very slowly when you're introducing the brown. If you go too much on the brown, it's going to overpower everything and it's going to get really dark. You'll recognize it when you see it. Like I said, it starts to look like bone. Okay, but the main thing is that it's an off-white color. There we go. Now almost there. And it doesn't have to be perfectly blended. You can have a little bit of more yellow areas, a little bit more brown areas. That's okay, right? Our skull is slightly discolored. There's different patches. There's a patchiness to the paint in there. So don't stress too much about making a perfectly even toned color. Once you've got your mix in place, take a smaller brush. I've got my 1/2-inch brush here. I'm going to come in here. What I like to do is I like to kind of work my way around all the little designs that we have on the face. I'll do that first. I can paint slightly over my pencil marks so that I cover some of them up. Anyhow, I did want to look at the history of the game. It's fascinating. As an adult, when I sit there and I just remember all the good times we had with the game, I'd love to find out its origins and everything else. Anyway, like I said, I meant to do it for today and kind of talk about it a bit. It's just been a crazy month, so. But it'd be kind of cool and interesting to find out where it came from, and but it's a really popular game. So here we go, just going around. Gonna work my way around the eyes. In a moment, I'm going to switch over to a smaller brush to work the smaller areas down in here. Now watch this, folks. With my brush strokes, I don't want them to be really smooth. It's a skull, and I don't want really smooth lines. So instead of brushing with long brush strokes, the long brush strokes create more of a smooth finish. What I want to do is a little bit of a patchiness. So I'm just kind of jumping around using short little strokes in different directions. Just be careful with your edges. You don't want to bring any of that pink in from the sides into the face, right? Because you can clean it up if you make that mistake, but just be careful so you don't have to mess with that if you don't have to. So I'm going to work my way around with this big brush till I get down to about where the mustache is, and then I'm going to switch brushes. Hope you guys are having a good time. I know I am. I always do when I make these tutorials. It looks like I've got a cool group here today. You guys are being pretty interactive with me. I like that. Put your comments down. Don't be shy if you haven't said hello yet. If you guys have any questions about anything, go ahead and ask. Especially, of course, some of you that are newer may not be familiar with how this stuff works. If you have questions, put them down. Okay, if I see your question, I will answer you. Now, I don't always see every comment that pops up. So also, if I don't answer your question or I don't say hello to you, I apologize, but sometimes the comments do go by kind of quickly. So, all right, here we go. Now I'm switching over to a smaller brush and taking care of the rest of the bottom part of the skull. So if you guys are noticing, it's that off-white color that gives the skull that bone-like appearance. I know a lot of times we see skulls painted stark white. And that works too. If that's what you're working with, that's okay. But if you want kind of a more realistic color, then you want to make it an off-white. Toned down a bit with a little bit of yellow, a little bit of brown. Work your way around the teeth. Do try to cover up some of the pencil marks on the edges a little bit. As long as you can see the pencil marks, especially like around the teeth, we're going to outline those in black later. And you can do that with a marker. I'm going to do that with paint, with a brush, but you want to make sure that you can still see those pencil marks though. All right. Take a little step back, look at your skull when you have a chance, and then make adjustments where you feel you might need to do some. I added a little bit more yellow to my paint just now, and then now I'm going through and just kind of adding some of this new color just kind of randomly throughout. Watch my brush strokes, everyone. Watch where I hold my brush. Clues, right? Just going through, brushing in different directions. All right. Cool. Gonna give you guys a couple minutes on that before we move on here. All right, everyone. So again, take your time here. Look, we got a couple minutes here to finish up the inside, and then we're going to start moving in and adding color. We're going to start with the flowers. As we start working the flowers, the background's drying, the face is drying, and once the face is dry, we can go through. I don't think we're going to need 2 coats of paint on the face. Not likely. The canvas is white, and this off-white color that we created should work nicely in blending in with that background white and making for really good colored art to the face. Just make sure you go in there and make sure you got paint all throughout the skull, right? Don't miss any little nooks and crannies. Sometimes we'll miss little areas that are small and hard to see, like maybe in between the flower petals, things like that. But I don't think we're going to need a second coat of this, so it will likely be the only coat of this color that we use. All right, everyone. So here we go. Let's look at our flower up on top. So I've got an orange center and then yellow around the petals. I'm going to stick with that. And the petals are also outlined in red. Everything on here is optional. So those are the colors that I'm going to stick with. I'm going to start with the orange at the base. Whatever color you guys want to use, feel free to change it up. But my base is going to be orange. I have this really bright orange that I'm going to be using for that. Whoops. Pour it out of my... And then I'm going to be using yellow for those petals. We want to use small brushes for this step because those are little intricate areas, and we don't want to accidentally paint beyond the inside of all that stuff, right? So I've got this little tiny brush. I got a little small, this is about 1/8 of an inch flat brush. It's called a flat brush because of its shape. So I'm just going to come in here and I do my best to cover up, again, the pencil lines, especially if you're not going to be outlining your flower, but I am going to come back and outline the flower in red later. There we go. So what do you guys think, guys? For those of you that followed the pre-prep video, did that help? I mean, I'm assuming it helped, but if we would have had to do that today during the tutorial today, it would have elongated the session quite a bit. It would have taken us at least 30 minutes, I think, to kind of do that together. So what do you think? Worthwhile doing a pre-prep? Did that help? Would you have preferred to have included that in this process and all in one session, or what do you guys think? Okay, I'm also going to take this yellow and I'm going to put it down in here, the center of my flower at the bottom. And then I can also go through and add it to my petals. On the outside, and the flowers on the outside edges of the jaw. Okay, so again, since we're working with yellow right now, what I do anytime I'm painting, anything that's the same color, I will try to do that all at once, right? So I don't have to keep going back between colors. So since I'm working with yellow for the petals up in here, I went ahead and added the yellow to the petals on the yellow flowers down here, and then the yellow base for that big orange flower at the bottom. Okay, same little brush. I'm just going to clean it up a little. All I have to do is take a paper towel, squeeze out any extra paint, and then I'm going to switch over to my orange. Okay, orange right here, and then I come inside and there we go. All right, and then I go ahead and do the petals on the bottom flower. Now for these little tiny petals, the points, I'm going to switch over to a liner brush in just a sec so I can refine those points. Okay, so that's about as much as I'm going to do with this. Even though this is a small brush, it's too big to do those little skinny points on the petals. So I'm switching over to a liner brush. And that liner brush that I'm going to be using is a little guy like this, nice pointy. It's a little curved from sitting in my water cup, but that's what I'm going to use to fill in those little tiny points on my petals. So here we go. You guys, I don't know if you guys are noticing, if you're newer to painting, I'm using my pinky finger. This area down in here on my canvas is already pretty dry, so I can place my pinky onto that canvas and it stabilizes my hand. It's a pinky hand stabilizer. I had a person that was painting with me sometime last month, I think it was, online. She mentioned that in the comment section. She said, "Hey, I see you're using your pinky hand stabilizer," and that stuck. So you can use your pinky hand stabilizers to keep your hand from shaking as much, especially if you had coffee or, you know, some of us just naturally shake a little bit more than others, but that keeps your hand nice and stable. You can also use your palm, place it right down. Of course, be careful if your canvas is still wet. You don't want to do either of those. Another thing you can do is you can take, because the canvas is on an easel, I can take my non-painting hand, I put it on my table here, my drafting table, put my painting hand right over the wrist of the other, and there we go. I just stabilized my hand again. Okay? Okay, cool. Cool, cool. Now I'm just going to go through and make sure that my yellow up in here is also, all my flowers have all their petals completely covered in paint. There we go. All right, guys, take a little bit of time on that, probably about a minute before we move on, and let's see what we got in the comments. Okay, good. So the prep, looks like the prep video helped out. Fantastic. Fantastic. I know a lot of people probably looked at that and were like, "Oh man, it's too much work. Too much work to do prep." But, you know, if it's worth your time, it's worth your time, right? If not, that's okay too. But that's part of what projects like this, especially if you want to make a really nice one, it's going to take some time. It's going to take there's some steps involved. Not everything can be super easy. Check this out, guys. I want to point something out on my painting. So I had some paint drip down here beyond my tape. I can take a little bit of water on my with a paper towel here, and I can just come in here and I can wipe that off. Because the paint is relatively fresh, I can still come in here and fix this. Even if it was dried a couple days later, I could probably still go in there and fix that, but it's a lot harder once it's dried. Okay, so be careful. Make sure you guys are looking around for that so that you don't run into that problem. But okay, guys, 30 seconds and we move on. Okay, we're gonna work with some black next. Okay, we're gonna do everything that's black on the face. So grab some black. I've already got some here on my plate. I'm going to take one of my small brushes. I'll start with my little 1/4 inch brush. A little 1/4 inch brush right here. Okay, just grab some of that black. Don't need to add anything to this black. Just want to be careful, stay on the inside, right? Make sure that I don't go beyond the lines. Carefully go around the inside. So I'm actually thinking that for next year, starting next year, I'm going to be doing a series, 1 a month, maybe 2 a month, I don't know yet, of recreating Loteria cards as a painting. What do you guys think? I've been going through the entire year, 2 a year. I don't know how many cards there are. I'd have to go through and count them. How many actual cards exist, right? But it's kind of a cool project. Maybe at the end of the year, we'll have 24 of these Loteria cards painted. And if I'm assuming there's at least 42 of them, right? I don't know. Again, I don't know much about the history, but there's at least, it sounds like maybe there's at least 42, unless the numbers are random. Maybe the numbers don't have any significance as far as quantity of images that they use. But that might be kind of a fun project, playing around with the idea. Again, I'm using my pinky hand stabilizer to make sure I stay on the inside of my lines. Then I'm going to switch over to my little liner brush once again to kind of go through and refine my edges. Take a little step back from time to time, assess your painting. Looks like I've got to make my left eye a little bit bigger, even though I've got outlines. Sometimes as I'm painting, I can increase the size of something by going around the edges. And I can slowly start to build up the size without paying attention, and then it ends up a little bigger than I wanted it to. But that's okay. That's what we make little adjustments for. There we go. Looks about right. And then the eyes don't have to be perfectly symmetrical, so don't stress too much about that part. But do your best to make them about the same size. Little eye sockets. All right, there we go. Looks about right, so I'll let you guys work on that for a moment. For those of you that might be interested, whoops, here we go. For those of you that might be interested in helping support the page a little bit, I do have a virtual tip jar. I've got a Venmo, PayPal, and Zelle. Okay, $1, $5, 10 million, whatever you guys can afford. If you'd like to help, it's greatly appreciated. But there's tip jar information. I've got a Venmo, I've got a PayPal, and I've got a Zelle. The information is also at the top of the description for the video. You guys can always check that out later. Don't go there now, just because you don't lose your place in the video. But Venmo's Jesse Mendeville at Painting with Jesse, and then PayPal, paypal.me at Painting with Jesse. It's easier to find me using the email on PayPal, paintingwithjesse@gmail.com. Don't look for me under Painting with Jesse. If you spread the words apart, you're going to find somebody else, and it's not. It's somebody the name Painting, I think, is what it is. Anyway, there's also my Zelle. Okay. For those of you who can, they're able to. Also, once again, if you guys missed it, this is what we're doing next Thursday. We're doing this really cool hocus pocus thing. I've got templates I'm going to be sending out via email for the heads, for the hair on each of the girls, of the Sanderson sisters, and the cauldron also. Okay, so there's that for next Thursday. Take a look at the event when you guys have a chance. The details are all on my page. Okay, so all right, here we go. Let's continue with the painting. Back to my little brush. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and color in the nose and the mustache. Whoops, knocking things over. Here we go. I'm using my little tiny liner brush for this. Okay, because the lines on the edges of the nose, especially at the top, are nice and skinny, right? I want to make sure I stay on the inside of those. Just going to go through here and do this. So anyway, guys, what do you guys think? I didn't look at the comments just yet. Yay or nay on the Loteria series? I think that'll be a lot of fun. And then let me know what else do you guys think? There's all kinds of cool stuff that we can paint, right? Give me your suggestions. I'm not talking about just Loteria stuff. What else? You guys want to do a Frida Kahlo? Frida Kahlo, you guys want to do a painting on her? Maybe another skull face? Or maybe a portrait of her. Simplified portrait, of course. Or what? You guys tell me. Anything. Doesn't have to be Mexican themed. Anything. Let me know your suggestions in the comments. All right, there's my nose. Step back, look at it, make sure you know that you, it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical, but make it relatively symmetrical. All right. Then while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and do my mustache. The parts that I've drawn in a moment. I'll do the little curves, little curlies on the end of these guys here. Okay, we'll do those next. You can do them with a pencil first, which is what I'm going to do. Maybe in the future I may do some of these on Zoom so that I can play whatever music I want. We'll have a cool soundtrack in the background. Maybe a themed soundtrack. All right. Oh, and Alebrije, that would be fantastic. Rally, that would be fantastic. Diego Rivera or Frida, yep. That would be cool. Danielle Bradley, we should paint a penguin at Christmas time. Yeah, that'd be cool. Sally and Jack is next Friday. Okay? These guys right here, next Friday. I don't remember the time. I think we're starting at 4. But please look at that, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Make sure you guys go back and look at the time on that. But I'm going to be teaching you guys how to draw everything on here. No templates. Yep. You guys are up for the challenge. Let's do it. I believe in you. Okay, here we go. So the little curlies on the hardest part of the entire painting, folks, is going to be the word and the number up on top. Okay, that's going to be the trickiest part. Everything else, for the most part, is relatively, comparatively speaking, easy. What I want you guys to do here is little curlies on the mustache. And you can do it with pencil, just so you can kind of erase if you need to. Remember what I said, nice and light. Nice and light, so it makes it easier to erase if you've got to erase. Okay, there we go. Just like that. I want to make an adjustment over here, make it a little longer to match the other side. So this is why I do it nice and light. There we go. Now I can go through and take my little liner brush and go over that part. All right. There we go. Other side. If for whatever reason you guys can't finish with me today, you guys have to take off for whatever reason, the video will be available for you to be able to come back and watch it at your convenience. Okay, so we can always go back to wherever you left off and start from there. Okay, guys, we got the mustache and we got the nose, we got the eyes. We are getting there. In a moment, we're going to go through and outline the teeth. Little tiny liner brush. Okay, I want to get those outlines of the teeth in. So you guys got about a minute before we move on here. The Avenger logo. Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. That sounds like a fun one. Nativity scene. Gina Guzman. Yeah, I think so. So last week, I think it was last week, I mentioned earlier that yesterday we did, where'd my little piece go? We did Miguel from Coco. We painted Miguel from Coco yesterday. The week before, we did Miguel's dog, Dante. So there's Miguel for those of you that may have missed this. I teach you guys how to draw and paint the whole thing. No template. The video is still up for you guys to be able to go back and watch it if you'd like. And then last week we did Dante. Miguel's dog, Dante. I'm going to turn my air conditioner on, so if you guys hear noise in the background, that's what that is. Getting a little warm in here, so got all my studio lights up. So here we go. Time to do a little outlining on the teeth. So a little tiny liner brush. What I like to do when I'm going to draw a little intricate stuff, so I'll take the color that I'm using. Of course, I'm using my little skinny liner brush, but I'll take my brush and I'll dip it into my water cup a couple of times so I can bring some of that water over. And then I'll mix that water into the paint, right? So again, I'll take my brush, dip it into the water cup, so bring some water over with it, and then I'll mix that water into the paint. What I don't want to do is I don't want to have any watery paint. So I'll hold the palette sideways, and if it runs, then I know that I've got too much water in it. I would add more paint to it. But basically, by adding water to the mixture, it makes it a lot easier to work with, especially when we're making little tiny lines. So now I'm going to go through here, outlining my teeth. I don't have the painting up yet, but we're going to be doing at least another Halloween themed piece. I did a really cool haunted house. We used glow-in-the-dark paint a couple of weeks ago. That was a really cool one. Gonna have at least one more Halloween themed piece close to Halloween, maybe even on the 31st. I don't know yet, but stay tuned. Again, if you guys follow the page, if you guys like the page, then you guys will get all the notifications. If you haven't liked the page, make sure you do so you guys get those. You guys are able to keep up with what's happening. Don't forget to try to use your finger to stabilize your hand as you're going through. This also works for drawing, of course. This is technically what we're doing is drawing here. We're outlining what we drew. Okay, so there's my teeth outline, then I'm going to go down the center. Now, you don't have to follow the line exactly straight across. You can kind of move it around a little bit, angle it a bit. Each tooth technically does have its own line, right? The two where the teeth meet. So do them individually, and that makes it look a little cooler. Then once you've done that, you want to go ahead and outline. Don't outline the outside yet, just outline the inside. These two lines that we made at the beginning by the cheekbones. There we go. La Rosa. Somebody suggested La Rosa. Katrina. Oh, doing a Katrina would be pretty awesome. I actually might do that. I have one in mind that I'm going to be creating sometime over the next week. So stay tuned for that. That's definitely a possibility. La Katrina would be a fantastic one. All right, guys. About 30 more seconds. What we're going to do next is do this blue design or whatever color you're going to use around your eyes. So I'm getting my blue ready to go. You can use purple, whatever color you have, whatever color you decide on. I've got this really deep blue that I'm going to add a little bit of white to lighten up, create a slightly lighter shade of blue. So I've got this really deep blue that I'm going to use for that. Just going to bring it over to this plate. Take a little white. There we go. Now what I'm going to do, you can also do this with a pencil. Probably work better if you did it with a pencil first. I'm going to go ahead and use a pencil. Start on any point on your eye and simply make these little half circles all the way around. Okay, come over, do the same thing with the other eye. And then go ahead and fill them in. I'm outlining them with my brush first. Then we fill it in. Take the outline first, and I go through and fill them all in. There we go. There's the outline. Now on my original, I've got an outline over this. That's optional. You guys can see I've got a dark blue and then a really light blue above it. That's optional. Okay. So we didn't paint the inside of the teeth yet. Great question, Janet. Fantastic question. We are going to be doing the teeth in a moment. I wanted to do the outlines first. Now, and then we also want to let this dry for a little bit. Then we're going to come in and do the teeth. And it's up to you guys. You can do them a slightly lighter color. I didn't do that on the original, but a slightly lighter color for the teeth will make it look more like a skull, right? Our teeth, generally speaking, are light white, whereas skull bone in general is a little bit more on a off-white. So on the original, I did everything the same. On this one, I'm going to go ahead and do these in white. Okay, and actually, maybe the outlining would probably be better if we did the outlining afterwards. It's okay, we'll outline them again if we need to. But I'm going to make the teeth slightly lighter than on the original. Okay, but that's up to you guys. If you guys want to do the same color as on the original, cool. But anyway, thank you, Janet. That's absolutely a great question. Forgot to mention that. I'm actually changing up the color just a little bit on the teeth here than on the original. But that's optional, and you guys can do whatever you'd like. Right now that we did the outline, we're going to go through and let that dry a bit before we go back in there. Okay? So we did the outside of the eyes. Give you guys about a minute. Then we're going to do the heart. We're going to go in there and do that heart, okay? All right. Looks like everybody's concentrated, because I'm not getting too many comments coming in, and that's okay. Sandra Esparza says, I came in late. Don't worry, Sandra. The video will be available after the live, and you can go back and watch it and do it at that point. Okay, you can start from the beginning, pause it, forward. And that's the nice thing about watching the recorded versions. You can pause, rewind, all that good stuff. Rewind, back up, all that good stuff that you can't do on the live. Live's more fun for me because I get to talk to you guys and, chat a bit. And I think there's a little more excitement around the lives. But the recorded ones, you can do it at your leisure. So that's kind of cool. But all right, everyone, here we go. Heart. So the heart can be red, can be a pink, I've got a really bright pink that I'm going to be using for mine. It's actually a neon color. I'm going to be using that. I mentioned in the description for the event, neon colors are optional. I've got neon pink, blue, green. I'm not going to do everything. I'm not going to do all the colors on the inside in neon. But if you happen to have any neon colors, you could use them, and the painting will glow under black light. They stand out a little bit more. So this is my neon pink. Okay, now I'm going to take a little tiny brush here and back to my liner brush so I can stay in on the inside. There we go. Cool. This would have been a cool color to use maybe on some of the petals for the flowers too, but another time. We're getting there, folks. We are getting there. What I'd like for you guys to do now is look at your painting. If you feel that your painting needs a third coat, you're going to want to do it at this step, because we're going to finish up on the face here in a little bit. We're going to draw the leaves and all the little branches and stuff, the stems and that kind of stuff. The teeth, we're going to color in the teeth. We're going to finish up with the inside of the face, and we need this to be dry so we can do the number and then the lettering at the bottom. Okay, so right now what I want you guys to do is that. Look at your background. Does it need another coat? If it does, this is when you apply it. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and do a second coat, a third coat. On mine, we have a little time. And then we're going to finish up on the face and get to the letters. Don't forget when you're brushing around the edges. Be careful. Don't accidentally push so hard and outward that you get some paint under your tape. Very important. Okay, again I start with my outer edges first, brushing in towards the center. I just realized that somebody earlier asked me about the significance of the numbers on the card, and I said something about, I suppose maybe if the person didn't speak Spanish, they could call out my number. But if they don't speak Spanish, maybe calling out the number in Spanish isn't going to help them either, right? I don't know what I meant exactly. I suppose that the number is just another way to call out the card. It just hit me. And that was about 40 minutes ago. All right, so I did my edges. Now I'm going to come in here with my multi-directional short brush strokes. Work this step kind of quickly because we want to get to the face, back to the face. But quickly but carefully. Avoid getting any paint, especially under the tape, but when you come around near the face, you want to avoid getting any paint into that face, into your skull. So it looks like about maybe 60-70% of you that jumped on at the beginning have survived this far. We had about 80-85 devices on earlier on. Maybe it's more like 50%. At the very beginning, it looked like we had about 80-some devices on. I say devices because a lot of you guys paint in groups, right? So if I say devices, you could be 2-3 people per device, who knows, but anyhow, at the beginning there was about 80-some people that at least maybe jumped on to see what was going on. We got about almost 50 right now. So for those of you that have made it this far, congratulations. This creativity process, this creative process is about patience. It helps you develop patience, and there are steps. If you want to create a really nice painting, there are steps involved. Sure, there are some types of paintings that you can go through very quickly, but especially things like layering, you can't speed up the layering process. You can take a blow dryer. Actually, let me take that back. You could take a blow dryer and dry your layers to speed that up. But the way we're doing it, we're putting a layer down and then giving that layer time to dry by moving, doing other stuff. Okay, so there's you can't short circuit the process. If you want to create something nice, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some steps. It's going to take a little bit of commitment. So anyway, congratulations to you guys that are still here. Maybe it's also that a lot of people, had to take off because they couldn't stick around for the whole thing, and they plan on coming back. But if you started from the beginning and you're still here, awesome. I really do appreciate it. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves as much as I am. So back to my little brush, I'm going to go around the head. Now, after this third pass, third layer of paint, things are going to look fantastic. And if you guys decide yours needs a fourth coat, well, you're on your own on that one. We won't have time to do a fourth coat together. Okay? But that is okay too. Just the lettering part, right? You're going to have to wait. If you're going to do a fourth coat, you're going to have to wait for the letters also. You don't want to try to do a fourth coat when you have the letters and the number in place. It's going to be really hard to paint around everything. All right, so there's my third coat. I'm going to give you guys about a minute there before we move on to the face. Hey, Joanne Gomez, do you mean you're just barely painting your background from the beginning? Is that what you mean? Like you haven't done anything on the face? Remember, guys, if you're no worries, Annabelle. Don't stress. Again, guys, don't worry too much if you guys are way behind. You can always come back. I don't want you guys stressing about, oh my gosh, he moved on, etc. The video is going to be available so you guys can come back. Okay, so yeah, if you guys are really behind, do what you can. Again, do what you can. But the video is going to be available to come back to. So this is no stress environment. And then, but please, folks, send me pictures of your stuff. I really want to see how this turns out for all of you. I just would love if everyone that's on your painting sends me pictures. That would just be so awesome. This is definitely one that I want to post. Share with my social media. So please send me pictures. All right, guys. So about a minute, 2 minutes. Give me some thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up emoji. Or in the comment sections, just say ready if you want to go on to the next one. Okay, Rosemarie, awesome, you got it. Okay, fantastic. I just wasn't sure. It hit me a little bit later, like I said, and I was like, wait a minute. But anyway, that was an awesome question. Thank you. Because I will look that up. Okay, guys, looks like we're ready. Seeing some thumbs up coming through. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and, before you do this step, we're gonna go one more step. We're gonna do something first before we actually do anything on the teeth. I wanna make sure that this is all completely dry in here. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go ahead and, you can use a pencil for this, make it a little easier. You're gonna draw your little branches here. The little green branches. So grab your pencils right next to your heart, about right here is where you're going to start, the one on the left side of the face, our right side. And this little guy is just nice and thin, kind of curves over, curves back down, and then ends up in a little tiny leaf, little tiny circle. And that might be hard to see from that far of a distance. Whoops, let me grab my canvas and bring it forward towards the camera. Okay, I did it really light, but hopefully you guys can all see that. Okay, so that's the main branch right there. From there, we can go ahead and add the other two little branches on top. One little branch, and then over here, two little leaf. Looks like that. I'll darken them up in a moment. And then I'm going to come over here and do this curled one. It goes up and like that. So let me go ahead and darken this now that I've got it all in place and I'm happy with it. Okay, there we go. You got it, Anna Guerrero. My pleasure. My pleasure. Other side. Same process. Come over. Comes out. Curls back under and underneath to a little tiny leaf. And try to make it as symmetrical as you can. They don't have to be perfect, but kind of come close. So as I look at this one's a little lower than this side, no big deal. Maybe I could make it a little bit higher. I could erase it and bring it up, but I'm not going to be too worried about that. And then I'm going to add the other two. And then the nice little curly one. So again, this is all going to be green. I mean, yeah, green. These are all going to be colored in green, so. Joanne, no worries. You'll be able to catch up. All right, everyone, here we go. Now we're doing the stuff around the big flower up in here. So up in here between these two petals, maybe right over it on the edge of this big one here on the side. I'm gonna come over, curl a nice little branch, comes out like that. Then you come over to the other side and do the same thing. Okay. On the base, you want to give couple little leaves. There's one right here, maybe one right here. Other side, same thing. A couple of little leaves. Okay, work on that for about a minute, then we're going to move on to the leaves right around the flower. And as far as decorations for the face, that is it. We're going to color those in green. We're going to do our teeth. And we're ready to work on our numbers and our letters. And then we're going to outline the skull. We are going to do some outlining on the skull. Okay, that's what's going to make your skull stand out from the background. This black outline all the way around. So, okay, so right now we're working on these. We're about to do these little leaves in between those branches, in between the flowers. And just in case you're ready for that step, I'm going to do one of them. All it is this. You're going to get one of those on each one of these. Okay? There, 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 and there. And there we go. So if you're ready, you're going to grab some green. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab some green paint. I'm going to tone mine up a little bit by adding some yellow to it because I want a lighter green for this. But if you use a dark green or a really light green, it's up to you. right, let's go ahead and outline all that stuff. So I got my green right here. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow and lighten it up just a touch. Using my little liner brush. Here we go. So I'm using the very point of the bristles for this to make sure that my line is really nice and thin. Are there any first time painters with me today? I'm just curious. Anybody painting for the first time? Or maybe you haven't done it like in years and years and years, since you were little. Not first time painting with me, but first time painting, you know, either ever or since you were a child. Curious. Because if there are, you picked a kind of a nice, challenging one. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm just curious. Okay, so there's the decorations above the head, and I'm going to go ahead and do the stuff by our flower. Do the petals between the flowers. There we go. Okay guys, a couple minutes on that. We're going to move to the color for the teeth, which is basically just going to be a slightly lighter version than what's on the skull. I want the teeth to kind of stand out a little. For me, you don't have to do that. You can use the exact same color that you used on the face to do the inside of those teeth, okay? So, your choice. But that's what we're going to tackle here in a moment. Annabelle Baca, first time painting, huh? Cool. Heidi Zeller Perozzi. Perozzi, what'd you paint? She says you're saying you painted earlier today. What was it that you painted? Just curious. Painting's a lot of fun. I've been painting for about 15 years, but I grew up drawing. Drawing was my big thing. Check it out, everyone. So this is one of the paintings that we got coming up here soon. I don't have the event set up yet. Probably towards the end of October, right? I know we're almost there, but actually we got almost 2 weeks left. So we're going to be doing this one here pretty soon, or maybe early November. Okay, check that one out. Pretty cool, huh? It kind of has a little bit of a Halloween feel, kind of cool, creepy vibe, I don't know. But anyhow, this is another piece that's coming up. Okay, I don't have the event up yet, so be on the lookout for that. Rosemary Alonso, my guy has 2 gold teeth and an incisor. Awesome. Guys, please send me your pictures when you're done. I gotta see these. This is just going to be super cool. So do not forget to send me your stuff. Rosemary, you're pretty much committed to sending me a picture of your stuff. 2 gold teeth? Come on now. I got to see that. Okay, hi, Mabry. Cool, cool. All right, everyone. So here we go with the teeth. You're going to need a little liner brush for this. A little small, skinny thing, right? Because we got to stay on the inside of those black lines. So I'm going to take the original color that I used for the skull. I'm going to go ahead and add more white to it. I want to lighten it up a little. Not where it's stark white. I don't want stark white teeth. I mean, you could have like Anne Marie did with hers, where she did gold teeth. You can do whatever color you want. Rosemary, sorry. You can have whatever color teeth you want. Some of yours could be black or brown or whatever, but I want to go ahead and make mine a lighter shade than what's on the skull, on the face, the other color. So I just lined up the original skin tone, and I'm going to come in here maybe a little bit more. I just want my teeth to stand out a little bit, but I don't want them to look super white, like my skeleton, my skull has veneers or something. So I'm just basically dirtying up the white teeth a little bit. Might be hard to see on camera, but up close I can see it's creating kind of an uneven white color. There we go. So it is a little bit different color than on the original skin tone, skull tone. All right. Fantastic. Oh, orange in the flowers, in the little centers of my flowers. I forgot that. Should have done that earlier, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. Just gonna grab some orange really quickly. I'm sure some of you guys caught that and probably did it on your own if you're doing yours in orange, but I'm gonna do it now. Okay, cool. All right, folks. The next step is basically going to be we're going to go through and outline the skull. Right. So the cheekbones, the outside. Using a little tiny liner brush again. What I like to do is when I'm going to be working with really thin lines, I like to mix a little bit of water into my paint. So it makes it work more like ink. Makes it flow a little bit better. So there I took some water, added it to the paint. And here we go. We don't want runny paint though, so make sure it's not runny on you by holding up your palette sideways like this. If you have any runs coming through there and any paint running down, you want to add more paint to the mix. So I'm using my my pinky hand stabilizer. We're about ready for those letters and those numbers. Also, if you fall a little bit behind, you don't have to, let's say you're still working on your flowers or the stems or whatever, the leaves, you can skip this step and do it after we do the numbers and the letters at the bottom. It's coming up here pretty soon. Or maybe you're only part way through this when I say, hey, let's do the letters. Again, you can always, this part right here isn't super crucial. You can do this later. Don't forget the little lines here on the cheekbones, right? They come in here and here. There we go. So for your paintings, G. Morales asked, where do we send a photo of our paintings? You can simply put them here in the comment section, right? When you're all done, you can always come back to the video, put it in the comment section, or you can message them me directly under Painting with Jesse. Use Facebook Messenger. Send them directly on Facebook Messenger. That's probably the easiest, to Painting with Jesse. And again, I really want to see you guys' stuff, so please send those over to me. Okay, again, you could post them here in the comment section later on when the video's all over and you guys finish up your paintings. You can take a picture, post them here in the comments, or you could send them over on Messenger under Painting with Jesse. All right, let's change up our music here. I think we're repeating already. Let's go with the groovy genre. All right. Give me some thumbs up, folks, if you're ready to go to the number and to the writing down below. Okay, I'm going to get prepped for that. You're going to need your pencil. You could also have an extra sheet of paper on hand, like an extra scratch piece of paper where you can practice your lettering and your numbers before you actually do it on your canvas. Okay, this should be pretty dry by now. Mine is pretty dry. It depends on where you are, but even if it's not totally dry, as long as it's close, we're good. Okay, so pencil, eraser, and then a scratch piece of paper or two. Hannah, no worries. I know this was a long one. Absolutely no worries though. If you guys need to cut out because this is taking quite a while, absolutely no problem. Come on back to the video later and yeah, send the pictures when you have a chance. Okay guys, let's look at the numbers. What you can do, you can practice on a piece of paper first. So you're gonna kind of do the size that you want. Maybe the spacing. You practice on a piece of paper and then you bring it over to your canvas and go, is that a good size? Do I need to make it bigger? Do I need to make it smaller? Once you've decided, you can use your piece of paper. You can just kind of hold it up against the canvas right below where you're going to put in your numbers. So for example, I'm going to stick to that upper left-hand corner, right, which is where the numbers normally appear on the Loteria cards. So what I'll do is this. This is going to be my guide in a sense. I'm going to use it. Careful though, if you have any wet paint, careful you don't do this and then bring it over to the white parts of the border. If you bring some over to the face, that's easier to fix. But be careful either way. So simply hold this up against your edge and you go right into your number. You can even also fold the edge of your paper, right? If you need to bring it closer to your corner, like this. Lower. Here we go. Nice and light. Because again, if you want to erase, you can. There's my 4. Two. Okay. So this little white area that you saw where the paper pulled off some paint, that's on my tape. That's over my tape, so that's good. So there's my 4. Okay, I want to do the same thing for the writing down below. I'll write it across on my paper. Once I like it, I'll use that as my guide. Okay, so I'll do this. I'll write it here first, like I said. And what you want to do with the lettering is that you want to have a kind of a similar space on the very ends, right? Between the L and the A at the ends, you want to have about equal space towards the edge. So that's where the tricky part is going to be. Use your paper to kind of help guide you, okay, a little bit. So practice on your paper. trickiest part of the painting is right here, right now. Okay, now though, you can kind of do this. Move this around a little bit to help you calibrate, if you will. You can use your fingers here to gauge the distance. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just kind of come close. Once you've got it, you go ahead and bring it down a little bit. You use your paper to guide you, so. La. No worries, Trish. Absolutely my pleasure. From Ontario, Canada. Fantastic. You got it, Rosemary. I know, folks, this was a long one. A lot of little details. So no worries. But please send me pictures, okay? As you guys leave, say goodbye. I am not mad at you if you got to take off. There was a lot on this one. Totally get it. There we go. Cool. So then what you would do next, you look at it, again, try to make sure you've got about the same distance to the edges. They don't have to be perfect. If it's slightly over to the right, slightly over to the left, it's not going to kill your painting. Just, make little touch-ups if you need to, erase a little bit if you need to. My pencil lines are all nice and light. Now I can go in here and darken everything up using my little liner brush. We're getting close to the end, folks. Took a little longer than I expected, but that's okay. There's about 44 devices still on, so that means I haven't lost the majority of you, or about half of you are gone, but that's still pretty good. I know, again, some of you guys are going to come back and do the rest later, etc. No worries, no worries. Don't want you guys doing this all tired. Take your time with it. I'm going to start up here with my number at the top. Now that all this is dry, I can put my palm down. There's my 4. There's another technique. I lay my hand over the top of the canvas. Use that to support my non-painting hand. I bring over my painting hand, lay it right over the top. Come across. 42. And I can leave it skinny like that, or I can make it thicker like the original. For now, I'm going to leave it nice and skinny, so I can go ahead and go through with these other letters. Or I should say so I can go through and do the letters. Bye, Ashley. You got it. Bye-bye. Joe Solo y Familia. You guys always paint with me. You guys are awesome. Glad you're enjoying yourselves. Okay, Danielle Bradley, fantastic. Send me pictures tomorrow. No worries, folks. But please, yeah, definitely send me pictures. I want to see your masterpieces. Sorry, folks, I'm going to continue here in just a moment. Gomez family having so much fun. Fantastic. Love it, guys. Love it, love it, love it. Here we go. Stay really skinny on your letters. If you need to come back and add more, another layer over the top, or to make them a little whiter, that's fine, but on the first pass, always try and make them nice and skinny. It's easier to fix too skinny than it is too wide or too thick. And of course that's relative, right? Everybody, some of you may want big thick letters, some of you may want really skinny ones. All up to you guys. If some of you were drinking and painting along, maybe right now you're going, wasn't such a great idea. But it's all good. Or maybe you guys had too much coffee before you started. Make your hands a little jittery. All right, everyone, so that's pretty much it for the lettering. I would go back. I'm not going to do it right now, but I would go back and do another layer of paint over my words and my numbers just to make them stand out a little bit more. But for the purpose of showing you guys what everything looks like. Oh, and then the other thing, I didn't do it on the original, but signing it, you want to sign your piece somewhere at the bottom. But here's what it's going to look like for those of you that did the border. So let's go ahead and remove some of my tape. Okay, so here we go. Everybody watch. Unveiling. Unveiling time. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Nice and easy. Unveiling. This is the satisfying part right here. Check this out. You guys are seeing it already. Look at that. Wait till your paint is completely dry. I probably could maybe wait another 20 minutes or so to really make sure it's dry, so that it also depends on what kind of paint you're using. But if your paint is really clumpy or sticks together, bunches up a bit, you might want to wait a little bit longer. But look at that. Kind of like magic, got one more side to remove. Now we got a really cool Loteria card right here. Where's my other tape pen? Look at that. Bam! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't want to lose the piece. Okay, so check it out. Now, I've got these really light pencil lines left over from the beginning. Now, because they're really, really light, this is not from the beginning, but from when we did the pre-prep. I can go through here and erase them. And I wouldn't go through and do anything with the border unless you really want to. I would not go do anything like add any paint to it. But it's up to you. You could. Might look kind of cool if you went through and added a different color like black. A black border where the white is instead of black would probably look pretty amazing. But check that out. What do you guys think? Inez Barcenas, you're very welcome. Check it, guys. What do you think? What do you think? Let me pull this back a little. Okay, so pretty cool. I gotta look at them from a distance too. Oh, I know what I haven't done. I'm not gonna do this today. We've already spent a lot of time. But what I would do is I'd go in there and outline my yellow flower with a little bit of red. I could outline the orange flowers with some red also down there, like I did at the bottom, just to kind of make things pop. And I could also outline the decorations around the face. Okay. But anyway, folks, that is pretty much it for today. I really appreciate it. I know we went a little longer than probably some of you expected, but again, sometimes it happens, and it is about patience and things like that. Lots of steps involved. But I want to thank all of you guys. You guys were fantastic. Don't forget our events for next week. For those of you who want to come over and do Hocus Pocus on Thursday, Jack and Sally on Friday, and then on Tuesday I've got Mike Wazowski, the green cartoon character from Monsters Inc. On Tuesday I got this little guy right here. Teach you guys how to draw and paint this guy. But also, just once again, for those of you that can and would like to help the page a bit, you can tip your art tender. That would be me. There's Venmo under Painting with Jesse, PayPal, and I've got Zelle. Again, if you happen to use PayPal, make sure you put Painting with Jesse all together, or you can simply look for me under paintingwithjesse@gmail.com. But for those of you that can, whatever you can, that would be fantastic. It helps me kind of, be able to do this. I spend a lot of time and effort with this stuff, but I love it, and I hope you guys love it too. Thank you guys so much. Look forward to seeing you guys back here again, especially for those of you that are new to the page. I hope you guys come back, and yeah, definitely had a lot of fun with you guys. So hope you guys all have an awesome rest of the day, and hope to see you guys very soon. All right, Gina, you got it. You're very welcome. Jackie Basham Barnes, you got it. My pleasure. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Yeah, Maria Montesinos. So Venmo, you can look for me under Jesse Mendeville, and you'll see @Painting with Jesse. Here it's separate. You'll see my picture. I'm helping somebody paint. You'll see me in the picture. The little icon is of me at the top. But yeah, this can be separate. But basically, Jesse Mendeville @Painting with Jesse. These are separate on Venmo. It's under PayPal where the words are all together. If you look in the description of the video, it'll show you how everything's kind of grouped together. And then Zelle, of course, is just my number, 951-217-2237. Also, Venmo might ask you to verify who you're sending funds to by verifying like my phone number, like the last 4 digits of my number, 2237. Okay? But anyway, everybody, thank you. Had a lovely time with everyone. Again, thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys all back. Maybe I'll see you guys next week. All right. Have a good night. See everyone soon.